A few of you may be familiar with my clumsy attempt at the Antikythera mechanism, but after I'd had fun making that, I decided I'd try and see if I could boil it down to a smaller machine with less cogs, and this was the result. So this is my 8 cog version of an Eclipse Predictor. I first engage the brake with the small hole here at the top. This locks the mechanism. I then can, by a series of screws and knobs, disengage the cogs from the axles and set it all to 0. I can then disengage the brake and the mechanism is free to run. So this yellow cog here we will call the nodal disc, and on it I'll mark the eclipse limits that are either side of the nodes. Next you'll see a green pointer which indicates where the moon is in relation to the eclipse limits, and the top one points to perigee on the line of apsides. I've set it up like this for just illustrative purposes. So if we turn now one complete revolution of the nodal disk, we now see that the moon is outside of the eclipse limits. So one lunation later, which is indicated here, one lunation later, there will be no eclipse. So we can continue doing this. It's getting close again to the eclipse limits, but not quite. And if we look here, we'll see that 6 months later, there will be a lunar eclipse at the opposite node. After 11 months, you'll see that it's right on the border, but the moon is not yet traveling at its fastest, so it probably won't be an eclipse. However, if we move on another month, 12 lunations later, there is definitely an eclipse. My clumsy version of the Antikythera mechanism is a geocentric orrery. However, this 8 cog version is not. It is merely the relative positions of the line of apsides and the dracontic month and the synodic month and the eclipse limits. So why stop at 8? Why not see if you can go further? So I got it down to 2. So what we do is we loosen this off. We line that hole up with the red dot, so that's going across like that. We then lift this cog and place it in so it's in 0. Then screw that up. So we start like this, with the red line lined up with the 0 right in the middle of the eclipse limits, a total lunar eclipse. So we now put our finger in the hole and turn it 1 lunation. You can see that it's now measuring 1, but the moon is outside the eclipse limits, so there will be no eclipse. We do it again, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's getting close, 6, a lunar eclipse after 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, and so it goes on.